What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. It's Ars. Let's get productive. So, big doings this week. Had a lot going on. I got my hands on a new VST that's not really new. It's a revamp. It's a part 2. And I've been going crazy with this VST all week. I loved the part 1, but the part 2 is crazy. Now, this new VST comes from this company that you are probably all pretty familiar with. It's called Thenatan. They have the Trax VST. They have the X8 808 VST. It was really cool. So the VST that I'm talking about is Tape Piano 2, and this thing is crazy. It has everything that you love about Tape Piano 1, but with some added features that really take this thing to the next level. I really didn't think it could get a whole lot better than what it already was, because I mean, it was tape piano. It was pretty much just a piano with some tape saturation effects and things to really give you that lo-fi tape sound with some really cool piano presets embedded in the VST. That's what Tape 1 was basically, and it was dope. Had really dope presets, and the effects were really awesome, and it had sections for you to layer up some string sounds and some organ sounds, some other things that'll really make it different and unique. But what Tape Piano 2 does is it adds everything you love about Tape Piano 1, and what I've come to realize is everything you love about their other plugin called Vibes, which is a multi-effects plugin. It kind of seems like they took the Vibes multi-effects plugin, which was already dope, and Tape Piano, which was already dope, and combined them with some added features and an added presets to just really take things up a notch. So we're gonna dive right into it. I'm really excited about this review because I've really been loving everything that Thenatan brought to the table with this VST. So without wasting any more time, let's dive right into things and let's see what this thing is all about. Let's do it. So as always, I have Logic queued up, and this is Tape Piano 2. Now, right off the bat, if we dive into the UI, you're going to see something that looks very familiar. Anyone that had Tape Piano 1 is going to recognize this little section here in the center. This was kind of like the UI design for Tape Piano 1. It was kind of like a green, looked like some kind of industrial retro tape player thing. It did definitely keep the same UI design from Tape Piano 1, but it just added some elements to really allow you to get a lot more hands-on and a lot more intricate with the sound design department and some of the effects that are embedded in this VST. You still have that original Tape Piano design here in the center. You have your low pass and your high pass filter, your resonance section right here. But as far as the design goes, it's that basic original tape player design with the muted tape saturation effects background going on. This whole reel-to-reel background is kind of gray. I like that tone. I like the look. Simple but effective. Really cool looking. If you look right here, you have a scratch designer section, so you can get some really cool scratch effects going on right here. You can kind of get it like a DJ scratch effect, and you can program it how you want to program it. And that has its own settings for that. You can turn it on or off with this knob right here. So that's really cool right off the bat. That'll allow you to take a sound and really do some interesting things with it. Now, I'm not going to go over every single feature that this thing has. You can go to the website and dive a little bit deeper on the website to get more familiar with the VST in that regards. There's a lot going on in this VST. A lot more to unpack than the original tape player, which is really cool. But what I'm going to get into is just some of what I think you guys want to see. We'll go over the UI design. We'll go over some of the sounds inside of this thing. And I'll just show you a little bit of what it can do. Over here on the left where it says browser, you can click that. That's where you can go through your different instruments categories, and then the sounds within those instruments are applied right there. You can rename these banks into whatever name you want them to be just by clicking this button right here and typing in a new name. And you can add your own bank, which is really effective, and you'll see why it's effective when we go into the different presets, and you'll see all of the different effects and things you can do to those sounds to take what was already dope and change it and tweak it and kind of make it your own. And you might decide you want to save those sounds into your own bank. As you notice, as I go through the sounds, some of the gears here is turning. That's because you have certain effects on already. So some of these sounds already come with effects already queued up. Yeah, some of these sounds already have effects turned on them. So you'll see right up here the gears are already turning as I scroll through the presets. If you click over here on the left side, that's your home button. So wherever you are in this VST, you click that house and it brings you right back to the home screen. Now, if you look up top here, you'll see this little square. This is where you can change the size of your UI. So you just click the square and then you can go through the different percentages to change the size of your UI. If you look down here, you have texture and you have 4 different layered sound slots, sample slots. So you can change through the samples. So whatever the preset is, you can also change that preset just by going through the different sounds. And you can kind of really take whatever the preset is and change it and tweak it to really make it your own just by changing up the sounds. So this sound is Edward Snowden, but the original Edward Snowden sound like this. Now, I haven't even started going through the list of sounds in this thing yet, but just off of that sound alone, you can kind of hear how dope this thing really is. There's so many layers in these sounds, and you can adjust the layers and the textures on top of the layers. So you can take a sound that sounds like this and just change the sample. Or turn one of these samples off just by hitting that little circle right there. You can change this texture here. And you have all kinds of textures down here. You have this record grit kind of texture. But it's just really cool that you have so much hands-on capability with the sounds in this thing. Now, with these 5 different sound layers down here, you can click this little pencil section right here and dive in deeper to these individual layered sounds. You can do everything from changing the attack and the release to adjusting the panning. You can adjust the width of the sound, make it wider or more mono. Let me turn that sound on. You can add a low pass or high pass filter on each individual sound. And as you can see right over here, you can also automate these things so that they kind of do some interesting things. So really cool stuff. And go through all of these different sounds. All of these different sounds are available to you. So it doesn't matter what the preset is. You can take the start of that preset, change sounds up on every one of these individual layers. Let me turn this on. Really amazing stuff that you can do just by changing one layer of one sound out of the preset. It's so cool. So cool. You can click over here on the left side and go to effects. Here you'll have 5 different effects slots right here. You have reverb, delay, a damage, a phaser section, and a dynamic section. And you can apply this to your preset and your sounds to really get you different textures and different feelings out of your presets. You can change the feedback of your delay. I'll bring it back. Same thing with the reverb. You can move the sound a little bit closer to you, or you can duck that sound further back in the room. You can make it as wide or as narrow as you want that reverb to be. You have your damage section here, which is basically distortion. You can keep it on soft or turn it on hard. And really get aggressive with that sound. You can turn up the bits. Really cool stuff. I'm gonna turn the delay down a little bit. Now that has more of a synth kind of sound, like a poly synth kind of sound. You have your mod phaser here. Now, after you've done all of that, you would think that that's enough. That's enough to get a really cool sound. But nope, you could click right down here at surgical EQ and you can do more adjustments to your sound. Just adding bands after bands after bands after bands to really just make these surgical adjustments to your frequencies and really changing the sound up how you want. You can get rid of some of that low end in your sound. Get rid of some of those higher frequencies. And really get a nice warm lo-fi sound. Really cool stuff. If you click on this little wavy section right here, you will see that you have another effect section. You have 2 LFO sections, you have 2 ADSR sections, you have a stepper, you have a custom section where you can add some fade-in effects to your sound, adjust the speed, you can randomize it however you like. You can adjust the intensity of each of these sections individually. So whatever you do to this one section, it's not one mix knob that affects everything. You can adjust the mix of every single individual effect on here to really give you a unique sound and to really make things sound exactly how you hear them, how you want them to sound. So let's start off with bells. The bell section here, we're gonna go through that. So we'll just start up. We'll start up top here. We'll go just start up top there. That's cool. And just for the sake of like, because I really like how the UI looks, so I just want to keep the UI there while I go through the sounds. And you can hear how unique and different all of these sounds are. They're so cool. All right, so let's go through some more of these sounds. Next one. Like even a sound like that, I like it, but I feel like it's a little flat. You can add reverb and other things to it to really bring it out. Cut some of the highs out that reverb. Really cool stuff, man. I really like this VST. This thing is crazy. I want to mention one more thing too. One thing I noticed about the VST as well is it seems like a lot of the presets were recorded at a lower octave, but I've been changing the octave, going up 1 or 2 octaves on each of the sounds just to really hear the dynamics and the characteristics of the sounds a little bit better, because it seems like a lot of the sounds were recorded at a lower octave, which is fine. Like, they still sound cool, but I've noticed that there's a lot of sounds that I really like in this thing that I didn't realize how much I like them until I raised the octave on them. So that's just something to keep in mind. You hear a sound that sounds really low and dark and ominous, take a second to raise the octave on it just to make sure that, you know, you're not missing certain characteristics in that sound because of how low the octave is. And one more point before we move forward is a lot of the sounds are heavy in effects and texture. So take the time out to go through the effects. If you say you're playing your presets right now, as you can hear, that sound is crazy, especially the ending of it. Woo. That's really crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry, I got caught up in that sound real quick. But take a second to go through the effects and see what's really going on with each of these sounds, because sometimes they're really heavy with reverb and they're heavy with a lot of different effects and LFOs and all kinds of automated things happening in the sound. And you may like this, you may like the preset, but you may like it even more if you take a reverb out, or you take some of the delay out and make some changes and adjustments to it. So take a second to do that, because a lot of the presets are super effects driven, heavy effects driven. So now sound like that, I might go to effects and add a delay. Really cool stuff. Next sound. We're still in the bells. Let's change the category real quick. Let's go to choirs and pads. So we're gonna go to the choir and pads category. To Tapex right here, go through some of these sounds. Now the really dope thing about this VST, if you had if you had Tape Piano 1, a lot of the sounds from Tape Piano 1 are still in this thing. You could just go right down here to where it says Tapex and you'll get a lot of those Tape Piano 1 sounds. So it's not like you lose everything from the original just by getting a new one. Really great lo-fi pianos. I love this piano. One of my favorite pianos to use in lo-fi beats is this one right here. But and they had this one in the old Tape Piano VST, so it's really dope that they had this in this one as well. One of the things I want to point out is if you hear this sound, if you pay attention to this sound, you'll notice as far as the texture is concerned, there's some record crackle and some hissing in the background, and it sounds really cool. But depending on the type of beat you're making, it may be a little bit overpowering. And that's what I was talking about earlier as far as some of these sounds are heavily effects driven and you might have to dial them back. That's no problem. All you have to do is, if you notice right down here, it says texture, you can just move this fader down a little bit. So I'm gonna play the sound and then I'll move the fader so you can hear what's happening. Now it's a lot more subtle. you can even turn this extra layer of sounds on. You can change it. Right? You can go to the sound, change the attack. Over the effects. All you gotta do is add some crazy drums to that. Crazy drums to that. That's it. That's your beat right there. Send it to the Migos. You done. Now, I can't go through every single sound in this thing, but what I'm gonna do is get right into the cook-up. Now, like I said earlier, I'm short on time, so I don't have time to really make a beat from scratch like I usually do, but I'm gonna play a beat that I created using some of the sounds from this VST. I'm gonna play the beat first so you can hear the beat and hear what's happening within it. And then I'll go through the sounds that I used from Tape Piano 2 and show you how it helped me create, at least in my opinion, a really dope beat. So let's check this thing out. Also, quick disclaimer, this beat is not mixed at all. So we're really hearing the rawest form of this beat, and hopefully the beat still sounds dope unmixed. So let's check it out. Okay, so that's a quick beat that I made using Tape Piano 2. And just to dive really quickly into which tracks had what on it, I used Tape Piano on 2 of the sounds here for the beat, and I'll play them real quick. I'll play one individually. So the first sound I used Tape Piano on was this one right here, and it's called Rise Up. Really cool, really great sound. And the second sound that I use Tape Piano 2 on is right here, and this one is called Upper Octave. So crazy. So like, those 2 sounds alone are almost the complete body of my beat. They almost completely embody the soul and warmth of the entire beat. And when you put it all together, it just sounds like this. So yeah, that was Tape Piano 2. I hope you enjoyed this review. And I gotta say, guys, I really digging this VST. I think it's something that you are all gonna enjoy and you're all gonna like using. So if you have the time, head on over to Thenatan. Check out the VST. It's affordable, it's dope, it's cool, really great plug-in to add to the arsenal. Again, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you can stay notified anytime I drop a new video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.